Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode. I am here with Lynn. How do I say your last name, Lynn?
Jarvis.
Jarvis. Okay, that's what I thought. I am here with Lynn Jarvis. Lynn is a soul coach, healer, author, intuitive, and high-level mentor for high-caliber women. I'm so excited to be with you today.
Thank you. Me too.
Yay! So, could you just tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got into the work that you do today?
Yeah, I was originally a high school Spanish teacher out in Scottsdale, Arizona. And I always knew, even in my undergrad, that that's not what I was going to do forever. I just didn't know what was next. And I got really inspired through my yoga path and like wanted to go into different holistic energies. So I ended up leaving teaching yoga and Pilates full time and going back to school full time for holistic nutrition and Western herbalism at a very like metaphysical school. And I was going to Sedona almost every weekend and just like all the fun stuff, right? So anyway, all my gifts just started opening and I started doing readings with cards and I was like doing all sorts of stuff. And it turned into, instead of just doing these like holistic protocols for women or teaching yoga for women or doing psychic readings for women, I was packaging them and saying like, okay, you can pay me X amount for an hour of my time and we'll cover whatever you want to cover. And that was kind of like the beginning of my coaching process.
That's
of
awesome.
saying like, this is all my mastery and you can just pay me to access it. And that was like a big revelation. And that was over 10 years ago. So I've been doing this for a really long time. I've lived all around the country and I'm currently in Michigan right now. My guy is here. So we're enjoying the summer.
That is so cool. I love Michigan, and we go to Wisconsin almost every year, so kind of similar.
Okay.
Near. That's amazing. So, did you always know that you had intuitive abilities, or did that come out over time?
It came out over time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool. So, one of your posts, you teach that healing requires pleasure. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I really feel like, okay, so very long story, very short. I had a lot of attacks happen to me about like psychic attacks and things like that about 9 years ago, 8 or 9 years ago. And I saw so many healers and intuitives and I mean thousands and thousands of dollars and years and whatever of all of that. And I've always believed that that's the path for me. Yeah. Because this is my life, right? And I believe in it so much, but none of them ever introduced me to the idea that when I am in my wholeness, I can be in a higher vibration. And I don't feel like there has to be all this trauma work. I mean, I've done it. I've done it for years, but I'm over it. And I don't believe, I mean, I'm not discrediting anyone's healing modalities. That's not what I'm saying. But for me, I feel like being able to be in your own power and trust in your own knowing and your own desires is so much more powerful than someone doing Reiki on you for 60 minutes.
Yeah. Wow.
But I've done that and it helped me at the time. So like I said, I'm not saying that that's not a great modality. It is. But I feel like pleasure is so identifying because it lights up your soul key factors, your identifiers, your knowing.
Yeah.
And it brings you into a presence of self that doesn't happen when you kind of are in a session with someone.
That's very cool. Well, a lot of pleasure is about being in our bodies. And when we're in our bodies, there's a huge opportunity for healing trauma because, I mean, the entire field of somatic practice is about being in your body. So I think that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
So you encourage women to take time for pleasure every day and let alignment, knowing, and desire lead you. what are some practical ways that we can prioritize pleasure, but still run our businesses and live our busy lives?
Yeah. So, like for me, I work full time as a soul coach. So, my schedule is as leisurely or as intensive as I want it to be. And I am very grateful for that. And I feel super blessed. And I
Yeah.
know everyone doesn't have that. And I'm not only talking to coaches.
Yeah.
And I'm very mindful of that with like my TikTok posts and things like that, because I know there's just a broader audience. But I really feel like we can savor a couple extra sips of our coffee.
Yeah.
We can take a bath instead of a shower. We can buy new skincare that makes us feel luxurious. We can, we can go to happy hour at a new place we've never been to by ourselves and flirt with a stranger, even if we're married. It's harmless, right? Like we can do the things that we can go get our makeup done. What a treat. You know that like at the mall, you can go get your makeup done and all you have to do is buy product. Most people don't know that. It's not even like on their radar of something to do. I mean, I have a makeup person now, but like before, I would do that probably once every other, probably a good 5 times a year.
Yeah.
Just like I ran out of concealer. Well, if I have to buy $50 concealer anyway, I might as well get my makeup done. And there are so many ways that we can inject and indulge in pleasure in our daily. Like I started eating croissants for breakfast, not every day, but like once a week. I'll like get them delivered in the morning when I'm at my guy's house and he'll bring me tea in bed and I'll have a croissant and like it's just such an indulgent. It's so beautiful. I love it. It's pleasure. And those are the things that build our life. And like what I always tell people, at least with like my modality and I have lots of them, but my style of coaching now or mentorship, if you want to call it that, is we hold the vision of our next level reality, right? Our highest self, our highest life that we want, all the things. If we can visualize it, it can happen.
Yeah.
Right. And so every morning we align to that. That's what I do on Desire Drops. I know you're going to get to that in a second, but I remind people every morning, like head on the pillow before you even get out of bed.
Yeah.
Visualize your highest life, your next level reality, and then step into that all day long. If you can flow from desire to desire all day, you're really stepping into that next level reality, like in the moment. It's happening. You're making it happen. You don't have to wait for something to occur to be like, oh, I'm at the next level.
I love that. That's so juicy. I feel like you really embody it too from looking at your Facebook feed. It's like you really are going from desire to desire, and it's pretty epic.
Yeah.
So you say that it's more than seeing the glass half full, it's knowing it's overflowing. How can we cultivate this overflow?
Yeah, so overflow is a whole like concept. And I wrote a book about, maybe 6 years ago now, 7 years ago, called Abundance Consciousness. And part of what that was all about was like, okay, let's say money, for example. That's like a sticky one for a lot of people. They feel like they don't ever have enough.
Yeah.
But maybe they have a lot of time. Maybe they have a love relationship that's abundant as all knowing. Maybe they have the body they've always dreamed of. Maybe they have, you know what I mean? Like there are so many, the whole concept of the book was there was 8 pools of abundance. And when you're lacking in one, or you feel like you are, you travel to the other ones where you're overflowing. And it regenerates you to feel like you're in overflow of abundance. So basically, like when I'm talking about knowing that the glass is more than half full, it's like a trusting and a knowing of yourself, like your next level is coming and it is going to happen.
Yeah.
And when you know that, and you know things about your own self and your own soul, and you can dig into pleasure and desire every day.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like stepping into that next level, like I said before, like over and over. But you can trust in that overflow because there's so many areas we can pay attention to feel abundant in.
Yes, that is so beautiful. I feel like that's very helpful. What are
Thank
the
you.
8 goals?
Oh, I haven't read my book in a while, but I channeled it all of the time.
Yeah.
I know it's time, money. I think it's
Relationships.
relationships, leisure.
Mhm.
Oh, I don't remember. That's 4.
You just have to read your book.
Right?
So now let's talk. I would love to hear more about Desire Drops.
Okay. Well, thank you for asking. I started doing it 2 months ago. One of my coaches prompted me to be more like personal on Facebook or any other social media. And I don't like going live very often. I'm not like afraid of it or anything. It's not my go-to.
Yeah.
And so I started doing these audio visual combos. I don't know if you've seen any of them, but I go on iMovie and I stream together like 2.5 minutes worth of really pretty inspirational images around the world. And I do a voiceover of my recording in the morning. I usually do it in the morning between 7:30 and 9. And then I post it on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. And it starts out every day helping people align to their highest vision and then encouraging them to make decisions from that place. If you knew all your wants and desires were real and manifest and coming to fruition now or soon, how would you act?
Yes.
What would you do? What kind of decisions would you make? So from that knowing, even if it's not here yet, right? From that knowing, how can you move throughout your day to be in your highest alignment? And so I remind people to do that every morning. And then I pick a theme for the day. And it's usually whatever is personal to me, but it's also a downloaded message. So I know it works for everyone.
Yeah.
So it can be anything from playful or joy or pleasure or desire or I don't know, power. There's all sorts of whatever comes up for the day. And then I'll talk about that for about 45 seconds to a minute and how it relates to the day and how to practically apply that to your life. And then I wrap it up. So it's fun.
That's so cool. I love that idea. And then everyone can just plug in every morning with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That is a great idea. That's so cool.
Thank you.
You've been doing it for 2 months now?
Yep.
So cool.
Yep. I took a couple of days off near the very end. Last weekend, I did a staycation over Memorial weekend with my guy, and that was so fun. So I took a couple of days off, and then I recorded one, and then I missed another day, and then I recorded one, and then, but it was like I wanted to do it every day for 2 months, and now I'll kind of do it when I'm inspired to do it. Maybe not every day, maybe every day. I haven't decided. It just depends. I get a decent amount of like response to it, but I get more with like my Desire Scavenger Hunt and other things like that. So
can we ask you about that now too? What's the Desire Scavenger?
Yeah. So I started it a long time ago. There was another coach that I'm friends with on Facebook, and she started doing like a game challenge. And I was like, oh, that's fun. How can I do something like that to like get people involved?
Yeah.
So I just called it Desire Scavenger Hunt, and I did it for a week. And every day on Facebook, I posted like a different prompt. Like the first one was something that brings you joy for $10. The next one was incorporate flowers into your life. Either take a picture of them, buy some, get some essential oils, something, right? Some of them are like plan a vacation or do a staycation in a hotel within the month or something like that. Some of them are go to happy hour. Some of them are sit in the sunshine. So it's just like every day I post like something that's very accessible and tangible for people to do that fulfills a desire in most people. And I use a really pretty image and I pair a fun song to it, and I post it on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram every day. And that one's pretty fun.
That's really fun. I want to be part of that.
Yeah.
Desire Scavenger Hunt. That sounds amazing. Oh my gosh. So you said that it's easier to own who you are when you know who you are. How do you help your clients discover and own their true essence?
Okay. Thank you. So I use all my intuitive gifts and my modalities to help like uncover and clarify. Clarity is the number one step with all my clients. I don't care if you're coming to me at a 300K level or a 10K level. We're starting with clarity, right? And I'm using all my gifts, and we're using all your gifts, and we're tapping in to get to know as much about you as we possibly can in as short amount of time as we can in terms of your highest self and your greatest expanse.
Yeah.
And all of your like cravings and yearnings and longings and knowings. And so we really tap into that. And then from that place, you can easily make action plans.
Yeah.
Right? Like when you know who you are and what you want and what you desire and what you're good at and it's easy.
Yeah.
You go, okay, today I'm going to do this, and that's what feels good to me, and I'm going to be good at that, and I'm going to make money, and I'm going to have a good time, and I'm going to go on vacation, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to love that. You know what I mean? Like it just builds.
Yeah.
And so that's why I always focus on clarity to start. But I feel like when women come to me and they start building this, right, and they start to tap into the knowing of their own self, their power just becomes. It's easy. I don't have to do that much.
Yeah. Yes, once you know who you are and you know what you want, you just take an aligned step, right? You take a step towards those dreams. That's very true. It's very cool. You share that feminine power is the beautifully delicate and strong balance together.
Yes.
A little bit.
I will. I used to operate a lot of masculine power when I was younger, especially in my 20s, until I started becoming really intuitive. And then I was really in my feminine too much. I was too easily influenced. I was too empathic. I was too overly sensitive. I was being hit from all angles all the time.
Yeah.
And so it was learning how to be in my feminine power, right? Like that strong goddess energy, with wisdom and grace. And really own the fact that you can create. And I always say that, like with my clients and my packages that I sell, it's like you move into this level of creation. You're not just witnessing, or you're not just observing, you're creating not only your own life, but like content. If you're a coach, or if you're a media person, a social media person, you're creating content. You're creating your life moment by moment. You're creating your dreams. So there's so much to that.
Yeah.
But basically I feel like in the feminine power, there's that fluidity.
Yeah.
But there's a strong presence there. It's like that mother energy. And I don't have children, and I don't plan to ever, but there's still that element of, that kind of fierceness.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is so important to find the balance. And some people call it the balance between the masculine and the feminine, but I like the way that you're phrasing it. It is still the feminine, but it's the feminine in her power. That's really beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I think that's really helpful. You talk about an elevated woman and how it's a graceful presence, a potent knowing, a tender being, a tough boundary, soft edges, radiant core. And I think this goes back, first of all, that's freaking beautiful.
Thank you.
Have a gift for writing, for sure. That's so beautiful. And I think it kind of goes back to what you were saying a little bit earlier about the feminine power. But can you talk about the elevated woman and what that looks like in real life?
Yeah, it's a woman who's successful, who's happy, who knows there's more, but doesn't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know how to quench that yearning
Yeah.
or ignite that dormant kind of energy in her. She
Yeah.
feels curious, but she knows enough. She's been on the path. She's done some healing.
Yeah.
You know, she's not new to spirituality or metaphysics, but it's not necessarily a huge priority, or maybe it is. I don't know, but she doesn't necessarily know what to do for the next level life for her, but it could be instantaneously amazing if she's ready to commit and invest.
Amazing.
You know, because when someone that way, this elevated woman that I describe, that I know, you know, as so many women are,
Yeah.
when we make that choice to commit to finding the next everything, it just happens. It's so easy. It's so powerful.
That's so cool. So I just have a couple more questions for you. Do you have like a daily spiritual practice, or would you say is your pleasure practice your spiritual practice, or are those two things combined?
I would use the word desire over pleasure when it comes to spiritual practice.
Yeah.
Just because sometimes we can be a little indulgent in pleasure that's not necessarily aligned.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen very often. So it's okay. I'm not that what I would say, align in the morning.
Yeah.
Flow in that knowing all day. I'm very sensitive in my energy.
Yeah.
So I can like feel my alignment, like actually physically around me. And like make sure I'm focusing on the right thing at the right time to kind of put it back in place, if that makes sense. So I'm very aware of my alignment, and it's sometimes tricky for me to describe it to people who aren't.
Yeah.
So it's really just a constant throughout the day, staying in alignment type of situation, flowing from desire to desire, and like purposeful action.
Yeah.
And even purposeful action can be watching Netflix.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's all it's all within what's best for each of us in the moment in that day. And I know I require a lot of rest, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, and I honor that, and I know. So it's 6:30 or 7 o'clock where I am, and I'm in bed. And I've been resting for the last hour.
Nice.
So, but I'm not going to go to sleep soon, but I just wanted to be comfortable.
Yeah.
And why not?
Yeah.
So I do. So anyway, it's just like that. It's the flow. It's the flow.
That's so
I used to have a lot more like ceremonial practices, but I just don't need to anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that you grow out of that, but I did, and that's fine.
And that's fine. Yeah, because life is, if you live your life in devotion, your life is your spiritual practice.
Absolutely. Exactly.
Do you find that with the work that you do, have you ever had a struggle with having a work-life balance, or have you been able to nail that?
I only take 3 clients a year.
That's amazing. Good for you. That's a good
So because it's very high level.
Yeah.
It's a high level investment, and I give a lot. And I appreciate that. And so I've like scheduled it so that I can give as much as I want to each client and really pay that much attention to them. I will do Voxer days and like 3-month Voxer offers for other clients and things like that. So I'll pick up other people here and there. Yeah. But in terms of like one-on-one 12-month commitment, I only take 3. So
you have nailed it. You have found a balance of living your life and then working and bringing your gifts into the world. That is so cool. So how can we find you? And do you have any like free Facebook groups or communities for people to plug into or anything like that, or courses, or is it just the one-on-one?
Well, actually, it's my 10-year anniversary for my business.
Congratulations.
So thank you. The best way to find me is on Facebook, TikTok, or Instagram.
Okay. I'll link your Instagram in the show notes.
Okay, great. Thank you. But for the month of June, which is my anniversary month, I'm doing my signature video course, which is 10 modules. They're like 35 to 60 minutes each.
Okay.
It's called Soul Luxury School, and it goes from very beginner to pretty advanced. So it just flows through the course of it. I recorded it like 6 years ago. So it's just fun. And it's offering it for just $222 instead of $1,000.
Whoa, that's amazing.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to jump on that, I would love to share it.
Okay, that's so cool. Yes, everyone should definitely check that out. That's such a good deal. Well, thank you so much for this conversation. I know it's late where you are and you probably want to get back to being.
No problem. Thank you so much.
So
this is great.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lynn.
All right. Bye.
Bye.